topic today is Hecterra. This is our agricultural module, and our agenda for today is the following introduction. And during the whole presentation, if you have any questions, please send them in the Zoom chat. We'll answer them at the end of the presentation. Second, Bernard will show us some hardware characteristics of the device we use for the agriculture module. The Hecterra demo is going to be done by Andrew and also by Pedro. Then I'm going to talk about the cost for the solution, the Q&A session, and then what's next and closing. So first of all, for the introduction, our GPS platform was developed in Europe and it's highly used in Europe, but also it's used in 130 countries around the world. And we are expanding businesses in the US and Canada. We've been in the business of the telematics for 20 years, so we have a lot of experience and we know our customers, so we always keep on upgrading the platform. API, we can integrate the platform with any system that you have. So integration with third-party software, reporting systems, safety and security, shipping, logistics, hardware, agriculture, which is our topic today, especially fuel control and any other thing that you can think of. So let me show you the platform. So this is our platform, our GPS platform. You will see all your vehicles, and these icons will tell you something about the status of your vehicle. There are many options here that you can select clicking on these three dots. So here are the options. If you don't want to see all these on your monitoring panel, you can just select or unselect them. And we won't go in detail to these because we are concentrating on the agriculture. Well, this is just to let you know that you have a lot of functionality here. On the monitoring panel, you also have notifications. You can create geofences, any type. Your drivers will go here, trailers. You have a dashboard where you can see some analytics. And very useful and handy information at your fingertips. So this is just something about our GPS platform. So for example, if you would like just to track your tracks outside the fields, of course you can do that. But if you want to track your fields, crops, this is what Pedro and Andrew are going to tell you. So let me continue. Here, hardware characteristics. So joining us today, Bernard, Andrew, and Pedro, they are the gurus of our software and hardware. Bernard, he led the team for the manufacturing of the product you're going to see today. And they continue upgrading it for a better experience. And also Andrew and Pedro, they are the experts on our agricultural model called Hecterra, and they keep on upgrading. Bernard, thank you, Bernard, for being here. So
thank you, Mary.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to introduce our company and our hardware. So Pacific Track was started in 2015, so 6 years ago. And our initial goal was to add engine data to existing GPS trackers. What we found out was that there are a lot of trackers. What I found out, it's relatively easy to put dots on a map, let me say it this way, but it's much harder to be able to collect reliable data from engines. And the reason for that is there are a lot of types of buses, a lot of types of engines, parameters, and collecting this data reliably was our initial focus. So we spent a lot of time on that, and that allowed us to create an ELD, so an electronic logging device that helps our customers to implement hours of service. And that was the first product we released to market. And after that, we decided to add a cellular modem into that device, and that became the telematics tracker that is being used in this application. Our goal, one of our goals, and a very important goal, was to make a reliable, very reliable product. And there are multiple aspects to the reliability. The first one is the design of the hardware itself. So we design the hardware ourselves in California. So this is not a product that we buy and put our name on it. This is a product that we have designed ourselves. As you can see on these pictures, we also focus, it's me on the bottom right, we inspect our manufacturing facilities and make sure that the devices are correctly manufactured and correctly tested. That's the second aspect. And another very important aspect is the firmware of the device. So we spend a lot of time designing firmware that's reliable, and as Maria said, that's upgradable. So we never stop upgrading the product. We are focusing a lot on making sure that we have 100% coverage on the devices that we support. Initially, that was mainly on-road trucks, but we have been expanding that to agricultural equipments, and we found a few differences in those type of equipments. And the solution that Maria is presenting today is benefiting from these improvements that we have made over time. Finally, from a cellular point of view, most of you would know that the world has changed a lot over the last few years. There was a 2G sunset. Now we are talking about the 3G sunset. So our devices are designed with a 4G LTE Cat-M modem, which is the one that all the operators are now implementing to provide reliable telematics coverage. So the LTE Cat-M has a lot of advantages. It's very reliable in terms of connectivity because it's a lower rate. So you're not going to watch a Netflix, let me say that you're not going to watch a Netflix movie on the Cat-M modem, but it's extremely reliable to send short packets as they did by telematics. And also all the operators have implemented LTE Cat-M in the lower frequencies of their spectrum, which again makes it a long range, high reliability product. So we are again very excited to be part of a solution that Semitech is presenting today. We are very confident that our products are, if not the most reliable, likely at the very top of the reliability list. We support the products in North America. Our firmware, our resellers such as Semitech can call us directly. They don't have to go through different layers of support. We are here to answer the phones when they call us. So again, Maria, thanks a lot for the opportunity to give us to present our company and our products.
Thank you, Bernard. So can you please talk a little bit about the different connectors?
Yeah, so as part of providing a complete solution to the customers, obviously one aspect is the product that I just described, but another aspect is being able to connect the product to different type of equipments. So we have in stock a number, I would say a large number of cables and connectors. So generally, these products are installed in two different ways, either a direct connection into the diagnostic connector that's available in this type of equipments. That's one option. The other option is to have a Y cable that allows the customer to keep the diagnostic connector for its intended purpose, which is diagnostic, but also hide the tracker below the dash or behind inside the cabin a little bit better. And that's especially good if you want to use the tracker for theft recovery. The devices also have multiple GPIOs, so there are options to control additional interfaces, either as input, monitoring input, or controlling outputs. And we can also add sensors such as iButton for driver identification and or temperature sensing. We also focus, as I mentioned, as part of the reliability we provide, we also have a maintenance platform that allows us to monitor the devices, make sure that they are working well, push firmware updates, and allow configurations and behavior of the device to be adjusted by the resellers. So that's something we have been, again, very focused on, which is provide a complete solution, not just provide hardware and let the customer figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Bernard. Thank you very much for your complete explanation about the hardware and the technical things about it. And so for our customers, this is a product that you just plug and use. As Bernard said, it's highly reliable. So all the technical things you don't have to worry about. Just we wanted to let you know all the process to manufacture it. But it's a product that you would not have any issues, failures, nothing. There are thousands installed in the US with no issues. Of course, it has warranty, but we haven't had any returns from like years, 4 or 5 years. So thank you so much, Bernard.
Thank you.
Okay, time to get this set up is just when after order is placed, it's just a week to configure the GPSs with the reporting and tools that you require. And then 1 week to arrive in the mail and ready to use. So it's very quickly that you can implement this solution and set it up in your vehicles or tractors or field vehicles, machines. Okay, so Hecterra demo. So I'll give the virtual floor to Andrew and Pedro. So go ahead.
Thank you, Maria Clara. It's great to be with you today. And thank you, Bernard, for that presentation as well. So Hecterra it's an effective web application designed specifically for the agricultural sector. It monitors the field works based on the telematics data from our GPS monitoring platform, and the solution delivers data on fields, crops, field operations, as well as drivers and special vehicles for farmers, dispatchers, and manufacturers, managers of agricultural enterprises. So why use Hecterra? This specialized solution has a full-featured API for all sorts of integrations. It has a simple and user-friendly interface, and it allows for special vehicles and drivers control, as well as detailed reports on operations performed. And recently, Hecterra, they added US measurements to the application. So now we're ready to promote this in the United States, as the application can now use acres, gallons, feet, miles, and pounds. So now I'll hand it over to my colleague Pedro Mora, who will walk us through the major features of the application.
Perfect. Thank you, Andrew, for the introduction. Thank you, guys. It's nice to be here today. And as Andrew was saying, Hecterra is an app developed based on our main software, which is open source, and let us to integrate and develop new solutions. So it's a niche app for those who work with agribusiness. During the research for development of Hecterra, specialists came across many different topics related to the agriculture world and had to direct the app towards some of them. So Hecterra works mainly with the calculation of the cultivation area and with the history of the fields. So the app has several types of elements that we must take into account for the operation, such as fields, crops, crop rotation, operations, implements, and finally the records where which will be the information captured by the system and which is pending for the review. We'll see each one of them in detail, and it's very simple. And we will determine what is the order that we have to follow for an optimal operation. Here we have our main platform. And then if we click here, we can open Hecterra in a new tab. All integrated, you don't need to put your login information again. So that's our app, Hecterra. So when we open Hecterra, we see this dashboard, which show us the days with the most work. So here, for example, on December on our calendar, we see days with this stronger green, which represents days where we worked more. And then we see this light green where we see that it was like a calmer day. So this is our first dashboard where we can see our fields, our number of cultivations, the area that we have been working on. But this is just a small dashboard here. Then we can start with our operation. And as I said, it's very simple. So let's follow each menu item to configure everything properly. And the first tab is the Fields tab. So we can click here on Fields and see some of them. And there are basically 3 ways to create the fields, which are areas where our machines will work. So the first one, it's importing a KMZ or KML file, clicking right here on import. The second one is synchronizing with the main platform geofences. So if you go to our platform, we see that we can create geofences right here on the main platform. And these can also be synchronizing to Hecterra. So that's the second option. And the third one is if I want to create manually here on Hecterra. So we can do an example. So I click here on create. And here have some areas. So I click here to select the points, and we can start to define where my area, my field will be. And something interesting about creating the field, the area here on Hecterra, is that we can subtract areas where we have nothing planted. Or imagine that we have trees, or we have a non-fertile land. So we can subtract this piece of area from our field. So I click here. And for example, here we have some trees, and I don't want to take that into account to our calculation. So I can just subtract this area from our field, and you see that the area changed. So that's the third way, creating manually. So, well, we're done with the fields. The next one, the next tab in the menu is crops. And this is very simple. I just need to register what I'm planting in the fields. So here we have a customer which works just with coffee. So that's the only one that we're seeing now. But what is this record for? So it's useful to work with the crop rotation. So if we go back to fields, we'll see that first we can select we can assign these crops to the fields. So for example, here I have these red fields where I'm growing coffee. And here I have a field without any crops. So the first thing is that we can assign crops to the fields. And the second advantage is that we can work with crop rotation. So if I click here to edit this field, we'll see that we have a new tab here, crop rotation, where we can register our seasons in the past or in the future. So for example, I can put that this year I'm planting coffee on this field, and in next season, in 2021 or 22, I want to plant, for example, grow corn. So I can select the season, I can select the sowing date and the harvesting date, and select the crop. So it's useful to track my crops and the crop rotation. Well, then we can talk about a little bit about operations. And here I must make a list of all the possible operations that my employees do in the fields. For example, planting, harvesting, irrigation, among others. So here I have some in Portuguese, sorry, but we can see an example. So first, let's talk about that. Why is this important? So it's important because I can assign an appropriate speed range to do this operation in the field. And if the driver exceeds this limit, highest or lowest, the range, I'll have these records on the map. So in this operation, which is fertilizing, we can, for example, put that the minimum allowed speed for perform this operation is, for example, 2 kilometers per hour. We can also change the metrics if you need, for example, change to miles or other metrics. And then I'll put that the max allowed speed is 5 kilometers per hour. And we'll see this result after all on the reports. And that's all for operations, but that's a good feature, and we'll see it soon. And the next tab is implements. And basically, it's a list with all the trailers that I have created on our main platform. So again, Hecterra uses the platform's data, and it's not possible to create implements here directly on Hecterra. And why? First, to avoid double work, because we already have these trailers on our main platform. But before talking about the second one, it's important to define what a trailer is. So they're vehicles without an engine. They're connected to a main vehicle with an engine. So on the platform, as I was saying, we have already a list with these trailers. So for example, if I go to trailers, I can create my trailers here, and Hecterra will retrieve this data from our main platform. So it's not needed to double this information to perform this action again on Hecterra. And on our main platform, we can work with automatic binding of trailers to units. For example, if you have a trailer with an RFID sensor or IBUDOM, for example, it's possible to make that when that trailer approaches the main vehicle, which contains the GPS device, they bind automatically. That is, here at Hecterra, using the main platform data, I have less manual work because the system, we already know that the trailer was working with a certain unit. In addition, I can define the operation that this trailer performs in the field. This helps even more to avoid manual work because the system will identify which unit did the work in the field, plus the trailer that did the work, plus the operation performed. For example, I have here an implement, and I can select on edit, I can select which operation this implement performs on fields. So the system will automatically know about it. So I will avoid manual work here on register tab, and we'll see it. So that's an important detail about implements. The last one about implements is it's about defining the working width. So if I go here to edit, I can add, well, as we're seeing the operation, that's not mandatory. And I need to define the working width in meters. So the system will know how much of the field area has been worked on by these trailers. So this is like a mandatory information for the calculation after all. And we will see it here on the next tab. We can go to the next tab. So we're done with the settings. Now we just need to wait for the system to identify the work of these units on the fields. So in the register tab, we'll have these works identified, and we'll need to accept or need to reject them. So here on register, we can select an interval. For example, we have selected yesterday, and I already have here an operation performed yesterday. So the system identified that certain unit, in this case, this one, worked on this field. So if I click here, I have some information to fill. So remember that I said that if the settings we saw are filled out, we'd have less manual work. That's the reason. If I don't fill out this configuration here in the previous tab, I'll need to fill out here. So for example, for this work, we have registered that the start time was this one, and the end time was this one, and the duration was 3 hours and 11 minutes. And this was the unit which worked yesterday. So now I need to select the driver, which was working. In this case, I can put, for example, John. Then the crop, and I can select what is the crop. costs keep going. So here I need to select the operation, and you can select this one, for example. Then we need to select which implement was working with this unit. So we can put, for example, this one, and we need to fill out the width in meters. So for example, I can put that my implement had, I don't know, 2 meters long, and you see that a new option appears here to recalculate the area. Perfect. So now we have the cultivated area, the missing area, and the overlaps area in hectares and in percentage. So for example, we have that this unit worked on a 32 hectares, and it represents 30% of our total field. And then we have overlaps. Overlaps, it will be when our unit passed through the same place twice or more. So this is not considered as work because we can just perform this action once. So this would be an overlap. Omissions would be all the work that was missing between lines. So for example, here in the map, we have this cultivated area, which is these green lines, and all the omissions would be all this space between the green lines. So all of these would be omissions. So if I click here to see omissions, we'll see that it's in red. And then we have the area left, which would be my remaining area of the field where my machine, my driver didn't work on. Well, in addition, I have information about mileage, average speed, max speed, and full spent. If I have the configuration of the full consumption on our main platform, it could be theoretical or it could be real consumption using a full level sensor. So there's 2 options, and we have been talking about the operations minimum and maximum speed, and here you can see in the map. So for example, for this operation that I select here, I put that the maximum speed would be 5 kilometers per hour, and the minimum speed would be, it was actually 2 kilometers per hour. So here on the map, we can see where the driver exceeded these speed limits, minimum and maximum. So here's is the representation of that. And well, then when we have all these informations confirmed, we can just approve or decline the work. So in this case, I will decline because it was just an example. We'll have all this information. So once I accept or I decline the work, I can see all these informations on reports, the saved information. So if I go in reports, and then I select the proper interval, which could be all January, I can select the report type, and we have several. It could be for a unit, just for a field, for a driver, operation, etc. Then I need to select the unit. So I can select, in this case, this one, TR05, and I can execute the report. So perfect. Here we have all the work that this unit TR05 has performed on January. So here on the top, we have statistics. So in this case, it was 51 cultivations. The total duration, it was 60 hours, the mileage, etc. I can see each one in detail. So for example, I can select this work, and I can see these details again, or I can see on the map all the cultivations together. So I'll see the all the fields where this machine worked. In this case, we see information here, here, here. We can go back and we'll see that we can also export this report to Excel, for example, or CSV. So it's a very simple operation. We just need to fill out all the options and then just wait to the system to recognize the works on our fields. But that's all for Hecterra today.
Excellent. Thank you, Pedro.
Thank you.
Andrew, do you have anything to add about the Hecterra module?
I think Pedro covered the major highlights, and really it's a robust tool, and I think especially with the reporting feature, which is certainly helpful for those who use the module. It's really powerful reporting, and I think it is pretty easy to use, so I'd highly recommend it, and I think that your customers will get a great use out of it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, as Pedro said, it's just to follow the tabs. We will provide extensive training, but it's just going from tab to tab, fill out the information, and then you will get your report. Very easy to use. So thank you very much, guys, for your presentation. Excellent. So next item in the agenda, let's see. So the costs for the solution are from 1 to 10 units is $222. The device that Bernard talked about, more than 10 units is $199. And it's $19.99 per vehicle or per machine, per tractor, a monthly fee for the GPS platform to give you all the reports and all the functionality. Installation is very simple, plug and play or plug and use. But if you want to do any, I don't know, cabling or in the dashboard something, the cost of the installation per vehicle is 156 and 14 cents. This is optional, 3 per vehicle. If you want 7 by 24 support, that's optional because we have value-added items that include, well, initial training for fleet managers and staff, YouTube videos, online electronic manual with step-by-step instructions, and on-call support upon agreed schedule. So all this is included. Okay, so our next item in the agenda is questions and answers. So the question here is, are there any different levels of users? So for security, Pedro, Andrew, that's a question for you.
Yes, sure. You can have your own access profiles. So yes, you can create different type of access and different type of profiles. So this is a yes.
Okay, great, excellent. Okay, I guess I already answered this question. One question is, can we have actual fuel consumption? So yes, that's a positive with the hardware that we presented. You have the actual fuel consumption that you can control in the platform with reports and with all the data coming from the hardware and from the module. So that's a definite yes. Okay, let's see. Okay, something that we also mentioned here, they are asking that, well, I saw it's in kilometers, but can we change it? Yes, you can change it to mileage, to all the measurements. We have all the measurements around the world, and they were in kilometers because it's from Brazil, the demo that we were showing, and also in Europe and in Canada, we use kilometers. But of course, for the US, we have all the metrics implemented. Okay, I think that's it for now. So next item, what we can do next. So we offer a 1-month free trial that would have to be with a device purchase. And also, of course, we can make another presentation including detailed functionality. And also we can make other presentations for your teams or for anyone who would like to see this in your companies. So I think that's all for today. Thank you for attending our webinar. And thank you, Andrew and Pedro, for your participation in this webinar. And I hope you have a good rest of the day.
Thank you so much, Maria Clara.
Okay,
Okay,
Appreciate it. Thank
Goodbye.
you.